Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Misfits of Cinema podcast. I'm your host, Danny Newton, joined as always by my co-host, Derek Rios. How are you today, Derek?
Hi. I'm fine.
Excellent. We are back talking about the last arc of the Arcane series.
Yes. Act 3, episodes 7 through 9.
Mm-hmm. Man, for me, these 3 episodes were a roller coaster of emotions almost.
Oh, yeah. They're fantastic.
Yes. Not just some of the best animation I've ever seen, but in general, some of the best storytelling I've seen hands down in, I don't know, probably the last 5-10 years.
Mm-hmm. It's fantastic. I think episode 7 might be my favorite episode.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. The characters in this are, the storytelling is more tight, whereas the middle part was kind of loose. There was a lot more characters in it. And the first part the same. This felt real tight. It felt real to the point.
Yep. So we start out with Echo, who took Vi and Caitlin after his showdown with Jinx. We finally get the big reveal that it's Echo.
Yes.
And he's taking them back to the Firelight base.
Yes.
Which is a tree that's grown in the middle of this little oasis.
That he says is actually grown in his lifetime.
Which has probably been about 16 years or so.
Yeah. Which is amazing. They're essentially growing the world tree.
Which, I don't know if you noticed, but there are flowers. There are the purple flowers that grow in the cave that create shimmer growing around this tree.
Yeah. I noticed.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure that has something to do with the development of this tree.
Yeah, definitely. It's got to. But we see the entire community that he's pulled together. Essentially, everybody is victims. They're victims of the drug violence, essentially. Everybody had their lives torn apart somehow. They're either orphans, their parents are dead. They're essentially ex-abusers themselves, kind of thing. It's very beautiful. And it's very sad at the same time. Like I was kind of torn on how I should feel about the whole thing, because whenever you first see it, it's like this big, it's like a wonder reveal, right? Mm-hmm. It's supposed to be like grandiose but when they start talking about what it represents, it's really heartbreaking. Mm-hmm. It's definitely America today, where these people who have had their lives destroyed by drug use have come together to build something beautiful. So it's sad and it's beautiful at the same time. At least for me. I'm kind of I don't know. I don't really have words.
Well,
I don't really have words about how I truly feel about it. I can only get close.
Well, what did you think about Bat Dad then?
Bat Dad.
You see one of Echo's.
Yes.
This is actually he was the one that saves Echo on the boat at the beginning of the 4th episode. He's the one, I think the only other person that gets away with him.
Yeah.
And you see him again when they were fighting Jinx at the end of the last episode, episode 6.
I mean, he's got a cute little monster baby that's chewing on metal.
He is one of the Vesteyas I was talking about, which is like the animal type races.
Yeah, he's a furry.
He's a bat, right? And he has a little bat baby. It's pretty cute. The character's actual name is Scar.
Okay.
And he's a pretty cool character. He gets his ass kicked by Vi, and he in the 4th episode he dodges a point blank bullet from Jinx.
Yeah.
He's kind of a badass.
Yeah, a little bit.
So while we're here, we kind of see Echo arguing with Caitlin and Vi because he wasn't sure if he could trust them.
Right.
And he does reconnect with Vi.
She had basically slipped her cuffs the whole time.
Yeah.
And was just seeing what he was going to do.
He's angry, but he still remembers his childhood and still remembers his family. And they pretty much, Caitlin and Vi get Echo to agree to take the gemstone back, that they took it from Jinx, and they agree to take it back to
because
the council.
That's the only way to make peace. The only way you can make peace and get allies in what you're trying to do.
He's trying to make peace and clear his name because they're trying, Silco and Marcus are trying to throw the blame on them.
Yeah.
And they're the outcasts, and he says that they've been they're being hunted by both of these groups of people.
Which his whole thing was, it was kind of a little heart-wrenching too. His whole like little speech to her, kind of, you left.
It does kind of,
you know, like, where the fuck did you go? Right? His whole thing to her as well is like, that ain't powder anymore. She's not being forced to work for him.
Yep.
She wants to.
This isn't the same person.
Yeah. You can't say her she's not the same person. It's kind of a hard thing for her to hear.
So he convinces them to head back, and he wants to go with them to plead his case effectively and make sure that.
Yeah. He basically gets convinced to.
Yeah.
He wants to go back so that the enforcers aren't trying to kill his people. And by this essentially just token actually garners some of their good graces that maybe they can help him essentially kill Silco and his goons. Because that's kind of his end game, is getting rid of Silco, getting rid of all his goons, and revitalizing the Undercity.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, he's basically just going back with them, and they get to the bridges that connect the city and the Undercity. Whenever they get to the bridge, Jace has already set up barricades and roadblocks and stuff like that. And that's where we run into Marcus.
He already had that all set up. He had closed off the bridge.
Yeah.
After the attack, he had shut down all trade routes and had the bridge completely shut down.
Yeah.
So people couldn't go back and forth. And when we get to the bridge scene at the end of this episode, and this is my favorite scene.
Yeah, it really is.
You see Marcus stop them. He comes out and just straight up guns down Echo.
Yeah.
Just shoots Echo right in the chest.
He's like, I want proof that you got the gem. And he flashes it to him. And he just like sighs and just pops him.
Yep.
He's about to put Caitlyn's brains on the ground. And that's when they get ambushed by Jinx. Using robotic fireflies.
Yep, these little fireflies. They look like little butterflies. They call them the firelights.
That are little piles of C4.
Yeah, the little explosive bombs. And they just blow everything up. Mm-hmm. And you see the aftermath that it kills Marcus.
Yeah, fatally wounds Marcus. Kills all the enforcers instantly.
Well, one's still alive.
Yeah.
But then you get Jinx walking up, just humming.
Yeah.
And just murders one of these, the last guard that's alive.
Yeah, executes him.
Just executes him. And
tell my daughter I said,
I'm guessing he's going to say I love her. But maybe he's going to say, I left the coffee pot up. Anyways, so you get Jinx again with where she runs into Caitlyn with Vi.
Mm-hmm.
And she's upset and kind of gone crazy.
Yes.
Well, she's not full on crazy yet.
Multiple personalities of a sort.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And just starts opening up on him. Mm-hmm. And then enters Echo. And this whole sequence is fantastic.
It really is.
It really shows how special the show is. It really stands out. Unlike other animations, including anime has this issue where there's a lot of dialogue. It has to have a lot of dialogue because you can't get the level of facial expressions that you get in this show. And the way the animation's done, you have these scenes where you just need a couple of words.
That is exactly it.
And you get so much emotion and so many words out of just expressions. Watching Echo's face just go back and forth between this anger towards Jinx and then the sadness and then like this contempt where he knows he's got to fight her and this smug look.
The studio gets it. The studio fucking gets it. It is a visual medium.
Mm-hmm.
Show, don't tell.
Unlike anime, you don't have to have 5 minutes of dialogue to set up this fight.
Right.
You can just have a few facial expressions and a smirk and then bust into this amazing animation sequence where
literally,
it shows them flashing back and forth between children and playing with paintballs.
He runs it all through his head. Mm-hmm. And then when it comes to him, how he's going to have to make his move, all he says is, right?
And that would be 5 minutes of dialogue in any other show.
Yeah. Fucking, he would be charging up for 3 weeks before he went Super Saiyan on DBZ.
This is a really awesome way to display Echo's power. Mm-hmm. So Echo's ultimate in League of Legends is he reverses time effectively. So he has this little shadow that follows him.
Yes.
And whenever he uses his ultimate, he reverts back. I think it's like 5 or 8 seconds, something like that, right?
Okay.
So he can go in, do a bunch of damage, and then when he's about to die, reverse and go back to where he was before and healthy.
Okay.
And this is a really interesting way for him to have this power, to have, instead of like this mental battle where he's playing chess, this mental chess game, and then coming back, and then it shows the animation rewinds to him actually making the moves.
Yes.
And playing out. He straight up whips Jinx's ass.
Yeah, he does. He dodges her shots, and he fucking is wailing on her, and he's got her on the ground, just fucking choking her out to death. And then his humanity hits him, and he stops.
His inner terror. He remembers this.
He starts seeing her again.
Yeah, he starts seeing powder, and he hesitates, and she drops a bomb.
Yeah.
Literally drops one of her
grenades.
Just explodes the bridge, and they both get hurt.
Yes.
They both get hurt pretty bad. And we see later in the series, Heimerdinger finds him.
Yeah, his leg is fucked.
Yep, his leg's all messed up. Heimerdinger helps him, and he takes him to the Firelight base, where he explains stuff about how the tree... He doesn't explain much. He just says, this happened in my lifetime. And
yeah. Heimerdinger is very impressed by his ability to have created this fucking hoverboard and shit like that, right?
Yeah. Heimerdinger pretty much goes with him, and he's trying to find a new purpose.
Yeah.
Since he's got booted out.
Ever since he was voted off the council, he feels like he has no purpose in this society. Or maybe that he's lost touch with the purpose that he was supposed to have in this society.
Yep. He actually goes to the Undercity to try to help out people. And hopefully this is where he can find the most use for his and help with his talents and skills. They have the capabilities of making some great technology.
They can make achievements and make life better for the people.
Yep. And that kind of ends his little arc for the show.
Yeah.
For this season.
I loved Echo stuff.
It was great.
He's a great character.
So then we go into Victor's arc, where he starts off with Singed. He goes and visits Singed.
Yeah, basically because he's dying.
He's dying, and he just trying to see if he can help him with the Hex Tech at all, the Hex Tech core.
And Singed hands him a vial of Shimmer.
He says it's a variant of Shimmer.
Yes.
And he's like, inject this. I can tell you're dying.
And you'll live or you won't.
Yep.
Good luck.
Yeah. He's like, it might save you. It might not. If it does, they're going to hate you.
Yes.
And he reveals that he used to work with Heimerdinger. Mm-hmm. So he at one point he was on the academy or in the academy and probably got kicked out for
genetic experimentation.
Yep. But you see Singed later on, he actually mentions that he used to have a daughter.
Am I supposed to know who she was?
I mentioned it in the first episode, is Oriana.
Oh, okay.
Which is in the game, but Oriana is just a construct.
Yeah, okay.
So hopefully, I don't know if he'll get around to it, but maybe he'll actually get around to making her effectively.
Okay. That'd be cool.
So Victor, after this, he goes back. He shoots up the Shimmer.
Yes.
And it has a reaction with the Hex core in it. It fuses with them. And it makes part of his body metallic.
Yes. And the Hex core is very much changing in its composition too.
Yep. You see it physically change.
Yes.
And you see it have a reaction with him.
Yes.
It reacts to him being angry.
It controls him.
And yes, it also punishes him for being angry.
Right.
His assistant comes in to try to save him while he's being zapped, and she tries to help him, and she just gets dusted, just turned into dust. It's evaporated.
It's kind of the story of, it feels a little cliche in a way, in a sense that we have a man so focused on his work that he's not turning around and seeing happiness behind him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because his assistant loves him. She admires him, everything about him. She wants to be with him, but she's kind of afraid to say it, kind of thing. Really wants him to notice.
Well, she's shy.
And she's so focused on work, he has no clue about any of her slight advances and stuff like that.
Her name is Sky.
Yeah. It's kind of a tragic thing, too.
Well, even if he did realize it,
I mean, he's still dying.
Yeah.
But at least he could still be happy while he's here.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Even if you knew it wasn't going to last, wouldn't you still want to be happy while you could? Kind of thing.
The rest of the season, you see him kind of struggling with the regrets.
Yes.
Like costing her life. And
Yes.
realizing, finally seeing that the love she had for him.
Mm-hmm.
He asked Jace to destroy the Hex Core.
Because he can feel the control it's putting over him as well.
Yep. And he knows that he won't be able to.
He won't be able to, and it's dawning on him how right Heimerdinger was. It's already cost somebody their life. He has no idea how it's going to continue to consume him and what it's eventually going to turn him into. But all he can see is how right Heimerdinger was.
On the opposite side of Victor, you have Jace.
Yes.
Who is kind of embracing the Hex Core. You see him at the beginning of this episode, of episode 7. You see him with Mel and him having regrets. You see him in his forge, making the hammer, his hammer from the game. He's still having regrets about Heimerdinger and getting him voted off the council.
Yeah.
Of course, Mel is still kind of manipulating him.
Yeah. She is, but you can see more now how she cares.
Yeah.
Actually about who he is.
And also about the city.
Yes.
Because Mel's mother shows up.
Yeah.
Who's, I think, going to be a big character next season. She's from Noxus. You have this flashback.
Yeah.
At the beginning of episode 8, where you see her younger. They've obviously just toppled some regime.
Yeah.
They have the younger child of this other faction. And the mother's like, what are we going to do with her?
Yeah, letting Mel decide.
And
Mel wants to have a softer, more diplomatic approach. We can let her live. She's no
banish
threat to
her,
us.
send her to the far parts of the world.
And her mom's like, if we don't kill her now, then we're going to have to kill her and 1,000 more.
Yep. When she revolts and
yep.
Brings an army back. So her mother just decapitates her.
Yep. Tells her daughter she's weak, decapitates this other girl in front of her, and
then banishes her, exiles her.
Mm-hmm.
She says exiled, but she sends her to Piltover.
Yeah.
To represent the family.
Okay.
But it's pretty much just banished from her because she's weak.
Mel's mother is very much a Klingon man.
Yeah. She's it's Ambisa Medarda.
Drinking, feasting, and warrior spirit. She's basically a Klingon man.
And sexing.
Well, and sexing.
She definitely enjoys the pleasantries in life and her position. She shows up for a reason, not just because she wants to check out Piltover.
Yeah.
She has a couple of reasons. And the first that comes out is she's interested in Jace's technology.
And the other is like, wasn't it like your brother's dead?
Yeah. She reveals that there is another faction that has a lot of resources, apparently. And the brother has died.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't reveal who he is or who her father is.
But they're going to kill all of us.
Yep. So she was there to kind of protect her daughter. It actually reveals in the card game, they have a card game online now.
Okay.
It's called something Runeterra.
What doesn't have a card game anymore?
Yeah. It's got a little online card game now, Runeterra.
Okay.
And it actually has their father's card, and it has a brief description of him. He said apparently he's off hunting treasures instead of running the kingdom. So I guess he leaves his wife to run the kingdom, which she's just this badass warrior. Which I think it's kind of interesting that she uses a Qatar.
Yeah, I noticed that.
She used a Qatar dagger to decapitate that child.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one character in League of Legends.
But it's much larger than a normal Qatar. It's like It's like a broadsword on her fist.
It's a punching dagger still. There's only one other character in League of Legends that uses katars, and that's Zed.
Okay.
Which Zed also wears red. Their tribe, their colors are red. So I just thought it was an interesting connection. Zed is a guy, but they might change it to where maybe Mel ends up becoming Zed. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Or maybe one of their family members, but we'll see what they do with that. I just think Mel's a really interesting character because we don't know. She's not in the game.
Right.
And she's such an important part of the story.
Yes. Basically, after her mom shows up and they're talking about weaponizing Hextech, and she has that conversation with Jace, and Jace is like, my technology wasn't built to make weapons. And that's when she was just like, well, it will be eventually. So
you're talking about the mother.
The mother. I'm sorry.
Yes. The mother. Yeah. She has a meeting with Jace, which is a great scene because she's just in this tub relaxing, nude.
Yes.
And she has no shame. She just steps out and of course Jace is blushing.
It's a different culture.
Yeah. You can tell she's just, Visa's used to whatever man she wants.
Jace is acting much like I would act, just like, looking over there. Sorry.
Scary naked girl. Okay. But she does kind of convince him. She does sway his mind to where later on, after they're having a council meeting.
Yeah.
After this explosion on the bridge, which Marcus has passed, they find out that he's been a little corrupt on the side.
Yeah. Duh, no shit. And the council meeting was great. Basically, it was Caitlyn and Vi talking about the Undercity and stuff like that and what's going on. Mm-hmm. And they were just like, well, Silco's not the threat. We did an investigation on him. Who did the fucking investigation? Marcus?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that corrupt guy? Oh, yeah. Well, shit.
What would he need? What would he need money for?
And yeah, you see Jace and Vi are leaning towards, let's go after him.
Yeah.
We have to take these people down by force.
Mel is actually the voice of reason in this. The whole, we should broker a peace.
Yeah, we should be diplomatic.
Yeah.
And not start a war that's going to rip these two cities apart.
Yeah.
Jace kind of ignores her.
Yeah, he does. Jace's blood's up on this one.
Yeah.
He wants to do something and he wants to do it now.
And Vi goes to him and convinces him, me and you, let's go after Silco.
Yep.
Let's hit him where it hurts. Mm-hmm. Let's take down his factories. They go. And
she gets his punchy gloves.
Yep. You see, which that's her signature move. She has one giant glove.
Yeah.
But she's got two right now. So she's twice as badass. And they go to one of the factories. And you see Silco's bodyguards are these, well, they have a bunch of children working this factory and stuff.
Yes.
And then they hit a button.
Rage monsters in pods.
Yep. He has mutant rage monsters in suits that are just super fast and strong.
The way they got into this factory was probably the most obvious thing I've ever seen in my life, though. Mm-hmm. Well, wouldn't they have more security on their drug train? Right.
Well, I guess no one has been brave enough to try to attack them, so they've been lax all these years.
He led these enforcers into a rough situation, though.
Yeah, they all get murdered horribly. Well, that's all. The first wave that goes in with him, and then him and Vi have this pretty cool fight scene between them where they're just messing them up. It kind of, I don't know. Like, I can understand Vi beating these things up, but I was kind of having a hard time with Jace beating these things up because he's an aristocrat. He's not trained in any of this. But if you saw him earlier,
he's literally just swinging a fuck you gravity hammer.
But his family, they're ironsmiths. They're ironsmiths.
Yeah.
They build hammers. And you see him working in this forge, and he's ripped.
Yeah.
He's ripped, so he's strong. And all you got to do is swing a hammer. He's used to swinging a hammer.
Yeah, but he's never really been in a fight.
And I mean, but this thing is so powerful that he doesn't really have to be.
Yeah.
All he has to do is be able to physically swing it, which he's capable of.
Well, what I like the best about his hammer is literally when he just whips it down and starts machine gunning with it.
Yep. And that's how it works in the game. He can swap between a range attack with the gun or a melee attack. And it's a really cool weapon. And he starts just blasting away with these shockwaves.
And this is where he catches feelings.
He smotes a child.
Yeah, he smokes a child.
And this child happens to be on one of the drug lords.
Yeah, just happened to be one of these underworld kingpin's kids
working down there.
He could have shot any other kid in this place, but that one was special.
He died for the cause.
At first, I was kind of wondering if they were talking metaphorically, like he killed one of my kids.
No,
but no. Later it's like, oh, he actually killed your actual child. Yeah. Okay,
and you see him just like, he gets his first taste of war.
This is how life and death works.
And he does not like it. He just completely is like, I'm out. I'm done. We're finished.
He doesn't have the stomach for it he thought he would have.
No. I guess murdering children turns people off.
Yeah.
Tell that to Russia. He goes back and brokers a treaty. He meets with Silco.
Mm-hmm.
And Silco
has a list of demands.
Yep. And it's pretty much he wants free trade route. He's building his dream.
Yes.
He's finally
he wants free trade routes through the Hex Gates.
Yep.
He basically wants a free pass for his people. And he basically wants all of our crimes to be forgiven kind of thing. And Jace is like, sure, you have to give up Shimmer forever.
That's easy.
And you have to give us Jinx.
Yep.
I would take you, but I need somebody to fucking run this.
You see him, which we'll get to Silco.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jace, he broke this treaty and pretty much he goes back to the council and tells them like, hey, we're not going to have a war. We're going to get peace.
And the council's pissed.
They're going to be a sovereign nation. They're going to be Zon. They're upset because they are losing part of their resources.
Yeah, he looks at Mel and says, yeah, you're right. You've been right this whole time.
And they're arguing, and of course, Mel supports him.
Yep.
And that's Jace's little arc. Well, not little, but that's Jace's arc through the...
Yeah, Jace actually has a lot to do in this arc of episodes.
Yeah.
A lot more than any other arc, I think. But all of his stuff was really good.
Yep.
You see him evolve as a person. You see his character evolve. How he grips with the things that he could potentially do and not wanting those things to happen, right? He doesn't want to go down there and kill everybody. But he straight up tells Silco, we'll fucking kill you all.
Yeah. It's going to be completely one-sided. Yeah. We're going to destroy you. You don't stand a chance.
Mm-hmm. And he doesn't want to do that. So yeah, his character has evolved.
Yep, he makes mistakes, and Mel was right. He's not ready.
Right.
He wasn't ready. So Caitlyn and Vi?
I like a lot of Caitlyn and Vi stuff. I do. Caitlyn and Vi are really in this whole will they or won't they relationship that they don't even realize they're in quite yet.
After the bridge scene, they go back to Caitlyn's place.
Yes.
They have a moment.
They do.
They have a little moment where Vi's talking about Jinx. They're on the bed together.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Caitlyn sympathizes with her.
Caitlyn and Vi really have the star-crossed lovers arc in this.
Mm-hmm.
They really do. She says it herself, oil and water. We don't mix.
Yep.
Right?
Well, they come from two different worlds.
Right. This can never be. You're just like, yes, it can. Tell her you love her.
I'm rooting for her. Which I don't know. Did I mention the whole cupcake thing last episode?
I don't think so.
Okay. So Vi refers to Caitlyn as Cupcake.
Yeah.
Which, that was kind of a cute little thing where Caitlyn in the game, she sets traps down.
Yeah.
And her original skin, the traps she would set, look like little cupcakes on the ground.
Oh, wow.
So that was kind of cute that they call her Cupcake. But she says she's sweet like a cupcake, but yeah. So yeah, you definitely see Vi's not really thinking much about it, but Caitlyn is definitely vibing on Vi.
Yeah.
Vi's a little more oblivious and focused on trying to save his sister.
Yeah, she's very single-minded.
Mm-hmm.
All she can see right now is I've got to try to save Powder from this shit.
But
right?
She does have feelings enough that she doesn't want to sacrifice Caitlyn.
Right. I found myself just so many times just fucking tell her you love her. Tell her Tell her.
Well, I don't think it hasn't gotten to that level yet.
I think it kind of is with Caitlyn, though.
Maybe. She definitely seems to have some type of feelings.
Yes.
Which, at the beginning of the show, I thought it was going to be her and Jace, but they're more brother-sister.
All the stuff that goes down is so entangled with Jinx because Jinx looks at Caitlyn like a replacement sister, whereas Vi doesn't look at Caitlyn like that.
No.
Well, I mean, we've already said how they look at each other.
Yeah.
So everything that's going down with Jinx, there's no way to tell her that you're jealous over nothing.
Because it is something.
But
she isn't trying to replace her.
Right. She's trying to grow the family.
Yeah.
Right?
And you get the shower scene with Caitlyn.
Mm-hmm.
Then at the end of it, you see Jinx is behind her and knocks her out.
Oh my God, it's so creepy.
Yeah. Which you get crazy Jinx, which we'll talk about in a second. Then she shows up at the end. Which, in the last scene. So Caitlyn's out of it for a couple of episodes until the very end. And then we go to Vi, who...
Yeah, she's off on her crusade with Jace, but then she comes back after that, after her and Jace kind of have words.
No, she doesn't come back. She goes on her own.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. She starts...
Well, her and Jace...
Going cowboy.
After they part ways, Jace is like, you have to give me those gloves back. I'm ending this. I'm done. I'm out. And she's like, nope.
Fucking take them.
Take them, yeah. And he just doesn't want to fight anymore.
Right.
So he lets her have him. Her next scene is she walks right back into the bar, right into the drop.
Fucking really, dude. I bet this woman's just like, please stop fucking punching me in the face. What is your deal?
And we get Vi versus Savika.
Yes.
Part 2.
Yes.
And this time they both have upgrades.
Mm-hmm.
Another fantastic fight scene.
Yeah, for real.
This one isn't layered with other people in the scenes like the last one was. This one's just straight up them battling. And it's fantastic.
I love the part where Vi literally gets the fuck knocked out of her and then walks over to the bar, takes a shot, and is like, I didn't hear no bells.
And you see that Savika's holding her own. She has this Vorpal blade effectively.
Yeah.
And actually takes out one of the gauntlets, disables it, and punches Vi, almost KOing her.
Yeah.
And then you see Vi hearing Vander.
Yeah.
Kind of remembering his lessons. You leave your guard down. She blocks with her face, like Echo said. She still blocks with her face.
Mm-hmm.
Which usually isn't the best strategy in boxing.
No, not at all. That's the Rocky approach.
Yeah.
It gave him brain damage.
Yeah, it's not working out so well. He got cancer knocked into him.
She does have a nuclear reactor in her fist, so she may be getting cancer knocked into her.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know the side effects yet. Eventually, she finds a new way to use the hex tech. Pops a little bubble out.
Yeah.
And it kind of knocks Savika up, and she just catches her, rips the arm off, and then chucks her across the room.
Fucks her up.
Messes Savika
bad.
up. But she's fine. She's still alive. You see her at the end. Savika is sitting in Silco's office alone at the end.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she's messed up. And then right after she beats Savika, you see Jinx walk up, knock her out.
Yeah.
She's got her second captive for the tea party.
Yeah. And then that kind of leads us into Jinx and Silco.
Yep.
Silco is a much deeper character in this arc than he has been in any of the others.
Oh, yeah.
Silco's dealing with a lot of internal underworld problems, right?
Yep.
Because of his recent failures and his recent setbacks, everybody is losing confidence in him. And because Jinx is a fucking loose cannon running around the city, just killing people and causing all kind of problems for the Undercity, everybody has lost commitment.
Yep. You see all the other, I guess, drug lords effectively.
Yeah.
They're kind of turning against him. You see one of them.
I don't think it...
Metal Jaw dude.
Yeah, Metal Jaw guy. You got Metal Nose woman.
Yep.
You got Metal Jaw guy. And you got, I don't know, people with whole faces on the other side.
You got Yordle chick.
Yeah, but essentially
they call a meeting.
And they call it an Intmoot.
Yeah. And he shows up He just gasses them.
Which he doesn't even need a mask for. All he is doing is reintroducing them to the atmosphere they all grew up in, and it is fucking killing them.
Well, he does have a respirator. He takes a hit, but he's just not breathing this whole scene.
Oh, is he not?
Yeah.
I thought he was breathing normally.
No.
Because he's monologuing for so long, he had to have been breathing.
He's monologuing, but he just doesn't breathe. But he does, before he hands metal jaw face guy.
Yeah.
He takes a hit of the respirator and then hands it to him. And then they cut the fans back on. But so he
he's basically laying it down like, if you guys try to do this again, I'll fucking kill you.
He's laying down the law and he's putting them back in their place.
Just walks out like, great meeting, guys. Goes on about his day.
And you see metal jaw face guy.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we should look his name up.
It's fine. We're past it now.
Yeah, he dies. Spoilers. Which you see him go to Savika and trying to do turn her, because he sees that Soko's kind of slipping.
Right.
We have this cool scene where he's proposing. He's like, hey, maybe your time is gone and we have new alliances and you're weak and we're going to get rid of you. And Savika pulls out her blade and you think, oh, she's going to betray him.
Yeah.
And no, she slashes down
and just cuts his throat.
And
cuts Metal Jaw Guy's throat.
And you see Soko just have a slight sigh of relief that it wasn't him. And it's like, yeah, okay, he's a rat. She was not going to betray him for him. That doesn't mean she wouldn't betray him for the right price.
He looks up at Metal Nose Chick and he's like, normally I would have your boy killed, but since he's already dead, I guess we'll call it even.
Ooh, burn.
Burn.
Oh. But so he's keeping his house in order.
Yep. And after she runs out basically crying or whatever, he's like, would you have actually done it? Nah. Not for this pissant. No. Yeah.
And then Silco has a meeting with Jace.
Yes.
They're finally meeting for the first time.
Silco thinks he's smarter than what he actually is, and he very much underestimates Jace.
He does.
Because Jace is just a young kid in his eyes, right? He hears Jace's offer of, I would rather make peace for your compliance, returning the Hex Core, don't make Shimmer anymore. And then Silco gives his list of demands, and Jace kind of just looks at it, kind of just laughs. Because in Silco's mind, I think he really does think that he can go to war and win this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when Jace just stares him down and is like, if we come down there, we're going to kill everybody, and you're just not going to have a chance. And I don't want that kind of bloodbath. And after hearing that and being put into his place a little bit, that's when I think Silco finally has some real deep inner thoughts. Because Jace looks at him and is like, I'll give you everything you want. Stop doing these things and give us Jinx.
Yep.
Somebody's got to pay, and it can't be you, right?
So you see him struggling with this inner turmoil.
Yes.
To where he could have his dreams.
Yeah.
He could get everything he's been working for and building up to.
He actually goes and talks to Vander about this.
He goes to Vander's statue.
Yeah.
And he's talking. And what he dodoesn't realize is that Jinx is listening. He's pondering.
He pours one out for his homie.
And he is having the inner struggle of choosing between his daughter, Jinx, which she is effectively his daughter. He's been raising her at this point. And getting all of his dreams. Then what we don't see is that Jinx takes him.
Yeah.
And it leads up to this final scene.
Right.
And leaves us just with Jinx's art.
Man.
Which
this final scene it's insane in the sense of a crazy person insane. This is some shit that the Joker would set up.
So it is. It is very much. So we see Jinx at the start of this, at the start of episode 8.
After the explosions.
After she gets in the fight.
Is almost dead.
Yep. She's almost dead. Silco takes her to Singed.
Mm-hmm.
Save her. Do whatever you have to, save her. And Singed is like, all right, but you're not going to like what I'm going to do. So he just drugs.
Yeah, he drugs Silco.
Knocks him out. I don't know what he does to Jinx. All I know is that he infuses her with Shimmer.
Her eyes have changed colors to pink now.
Yep, they're pink. They glow bright and very creepy. And she is full on batshit crazy now.
Yes. I feel like the Shimmer that he put into her fused all of her personalities together in a way that they weren't before.
It fully brought out the crazy.
Right.
Which she has, because of the shimmer, she's physically enhanced to where she's super fast now.
Yeah. She is very much like a rage monster herself when it comes to speed, dexterity, all that.
But Sins did what he promised. He saved her. So that leads to the final scene to where we have a little tea party. She has Silco, Caitlyn, and Vi. It starts with just Vi.
Yeah.
And they're talking. And Vi's trying to convince her, I'm your sister. It could be us. Let's go back to the way things were.
Mm-hmm.
I thought about you every day when I was in jail.
Yeah.
And you're the reason I kept going on.
Well, this is a thing that Vi actually very much wants.
And she truly wants to save her sister.
Yeah.
But what she doesn't know is that her sister's gone.
Right.
She's just gone. And then you see that she has...
well, the lights come up and Silco's at the other end of the table, right?
You got Silco, and you have...
And she's like, oh, we're missing somebody here.
Yeah. But she also has... She has a picture for Vander.
Yes.
And then she has...
The Clagger and Milo.
Milo dolls. Yep.
And she has Vi's bunny.
Well, that's Powder's bunny, right?
Oh, I thought it was Vi's bunny. It was up over the power lines or whatever stuck, right?
I think that was Powder's.
Okay. I'm sorry. I thought it was Vi's.
No.
My bad.
I'm not sure. Either way. But that's representing Powder in her past, right? And she's just kind of having this final inner turmoil struggle between Jinx and Powder. You see her pull out a plate. It's like, oh, we're missing somebody. And she pulls out a platter. And for a second, Vi has this horrible realization that, oh, she's about to reveal Caitlyn's
What's
head.
In the box?
What's in the
box?
And you think it might be Caitlyn's head. But no, it's just a cupcake.
Yes.
Again, another cupcake reference.
It's like, I'm not even that crazy.
Yeah. With the gemstone.
Mm-hmm.
Then she wills out Caitlyn. She's having the struggle. The scene's just fantastic. When
it
you
is.
see the Silco trying to pull her to his side.
Right.
You just embrace Jinx. This is who you are now.
Mm-hmm.
She is struggling. You see in the turmoil, she breaks a glass. Caitlyn uses it to cut her bonds. Yep. And pulls out her little minigun and tries to get her to surrender.
Well, first she slaps the pistol in Vi's hand and it's just like, put her brains on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
You blow her brains out and I'll go sit over in the powder chair and I will be Powder again. Yep.
But you know that's not true. First of all, Vi would never forgive herself.
Right.
Because she has feelings for Caitlyn. Jinx making her making this choice is obviously proof enough that she is not the same person.
Right.
And she would never be that person again.
She can't be that person again. Silco and Vi are going back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Vi's trying to remind her of who she is. Silco's trying to remind her of who she is now. And Silco's whole thing is, you're perfect to me. It's always just been us. It's always just been us against the world. They can say whatever they want. They can do whatever they want. It doesn't matter. It's always going to be just us. They're having this struggle back and forth. And that's when... Is that when Caitlyn gets loose? Or is it before when Caitlyn gets loose?
I think it was... No, Caitlyn gets loose. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Caitlyn gets loose.
Yeah, Caitlyn gets loose. And...
She's about to light her up with the minigun.
About to light her up. And she uses her speed, knocks out Caitlyn.
Yeah. Lays out Caitlyn.
And picks up the little minigun.
Whenever Jinx is going back and forth in her head... in like this whole fit of rage or whatever, Silco slips free of his restraints a little bit and picks the pistol up off the table.
And he's
going to shoot Vi.
Yep.
And Jinx lights him up, blows him away.
She shoots him right through the chest. It's a sad scene.
Yeah, it is. His last words for her is just like, "You're my daughter. I love you. You're always perfect."
And he says that, I was never going to give you up.
Yeah.
I was going to choose you. Let them all burn. It's just us.
Yes.
You see her fully embrace Jinx.
Yes.
As Vi's sitting there watching her, she takes the gemstone and puts it in her rocket.
Yes.
And walks up to the top of this building and fires her specialty, her super mega death rocket, which is her ultimate in the game.
Yeah.
As it's soaring through the sky, we get this final scene where
the council literally was voting yes.
Yep. You see Silco's dream finally comes true.
Yep.
Right as he dies. The show ends with the rocket
hitting the glass of the council chamber.
Hitting the glass of the council chamber. And this scene where It just shows every main characters in the last scene with this, just the streak of the rocket going in the background. And it ends with the rocket getting there. That's fantastic. I can't wait.
It is. That's why I'm wondering if they're even going to do a season 2 in this realm.
They are.
Because
they have announced it, and it is going to pick up with the storyline.
To me, it was a very good ending. You leave your characters ambiguously. You don't really know how it's going to end for them, but you're not supposed to know.
I would like to see them move on and do something else and then kind of come back to the aftermath of this.
Yes.
But I'm sure they're going to pick up where they left off. And it's going to be hard.
It is. Do you think that they're going to go far enough to kill multiple name characters?
And you think in the council?
Yes.
I honestly think Mel's going to die. Jace will live.
Yeah.
I think Mel will die. And that's why I think her mother's going to become more of a main character.
I think Caitlyn's mother is definitely going to die.
And it's going to start this war between these two nations. Jace will embrace the mother and start manufacturing weapons.
That's one of the things that breaks my heart too, is not only the fact that he listened to Mel and they were voting for a peace treaty and all this, is that, like I said, the relationship between Caitlyn and Vi is great. It's a very honest love story.
Yep.
And when her mother is murdered in the council chamber by this fucking missile, the whole aspect of how is that going to affect their relationship? When she looks at Vi and it's just like, your people killed my mom, right?
I mean,
she's
going to blame Jinx.
Yes.
But then she's going to have some blame towards Vi.
If I wouldn't have hesitated.
Yep. If she wouldn't have hesitated because Vi had her stop.
Right.
Like she was going to shoot Jinx.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least try to, but it probably wouldn't have been successful. So it wouldn't have mattered. But she did hesitate because of Vi.
Yes.
Pleading to her. And it probably will cost her mother's life.
No, it definitely did. It had to have. Which, that's the turmoil that these characters are going to come back to us in. Man, it's depressing, but it's the good kind of depression, mm-hmm. right? This left me feeling like the Netflix Punisher series in a way. It was fucking hours of depression, but it was a good kind of depression. Like, this is very much that kind of feeling for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because the entire time you're watching this last arc, you almost feel like Silco can't be a good man, but maybe he could come back around to being a decent man.
Yep.
At the end. You know that Jinx is never going to be Powder, but maybe she could be less Jinx.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Maybe things could be okay in, a parallel dimension kind of thing, right? But that's the bittersweet part of it. It's just not. Most shows want to wrap themselves up in like a triumphant ending or whatever, right?
Yeah.
The good guys win, and
they want to leave you with a happy, good feeling.
It's very George R.R. Martin in the way it ends.
It ends with the tragedy.
Yeah. This is definitely pretty much ending on the Red Wedding. Yeah. Right? So, I don't know. This series, it blew my mind. It really did. From start to finish. Everything about it was great. The amount of storytelling we can get out of characters that are just... Essentially, these are all just original characters. Like, this is a story I've never seen before.
Well, I mean, the characters do have some backstories, but they've never really been told in a way like this.
Yeah.
The backstories are always really vague
mm-hmm.
and ever changing.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully them laying down a solid storyline through the show like this will lead to some more.
I never had a story impact me quite like this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is definitely different. I can't stop gushing about how good this series is.
Yeah.
They fucking knocked it out.
I can't wait for season 2. There's lots of Easter eggs in the show if you do enjoy playing the games.
The characters are all good from start to finish. They all have well laid out motivations. Nobody does anything stupid. That is so just... We are so used to watching a movie or a show and it's like every fucking character in this is stupid.
Yeah.
None of these characters are stupid. Even the fucking NPCs aren't stupid. Right?
And that final scene when it cuts to Singed,
Yeah.
you see the outline of something with him, and it looks like Xander. So hopefully next season we'll get Xander's what everyone thinks is going to be Warwick.
Okay.
So that'd be really cool.
Do you think Xander's actually dead?
No.
I've been running off the assumption that he is.
I'm sure that's what they wanted you to think.
Yeah.
But I believe Singe has revitalized him.
Oh,
with,
okay.
With Shimmer. And I don't know, like if he comes back as Warwick.
If they do that,
right.
That's going to be such a twist arc.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be great.
Which I don't know. Like Warwick's a werewolf monster. I don't know if he's going to come back as a villain or what, but it'll be really weird. Someone's got to take over the underworld. I figured that's going to be Echo's character. But Echo and Heimerdinger are kind of building up the underworld. But you also have Savika there, who's now in charge.
If Vander is alive and they bring him back as a villainous character, that's a little too much on Vi. Don't you think? Her entire family is gone now.
Yeah.
And then to bring one back out of the blue as a villain, that is rough. You just had a family member that was a villain. If they make him a villain, it's probably going to feel too much like retreading old storyline.
I think it'll be interesting.
But if they do bring him back in some sort of a capacity, that would actually be really cool.
Yeah.
So
we'll have to see. We'll wait. Hopefully it took them 6 years to make this from start to finish. They hired more people. The production should be quicker. So hopefully 2 years. So maybe we got another year.
I never thought I would see anything on Netflix that would make you cry tears of joy.
That's not true. Netflix has got some good content. Good for them.
Mm-hmm.
But if they start charging more, fuck them. That shit's already gone up once this year.
Anybody who hasn't watched this show is really missing out on a real once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Go check it out. We'll see you next time. Hopefully, we'll get season 2 soon.
Awesome. That would be great. But yeah, that's all we got. And I encourage everybody, just hit us up in the comment section below. Tell us how you feel about the series overall. If you love it as much as we do, let us know. Also, hit us up on the Facebook page. Follow us on Twitter. All the Googles, all the tweets.
Yep, we've got Twitter, Facebook. I don't know. The social media stuff.
Yep.
Thanks for listening.
See you later, guys.
Bye.